Prison guards patrol the prison grounds, monitor inmate behavior, and prevent any incidents or escape. But what if they ended up in prison themselves? Well, that's exactly what happened with some prison guards. They actually ended up in prison themselves. Imagine, the very sentinels of law and order now finding themselves on the other side of the bars. Could it be a love affair with the ironclad walls, or a twist of destiny? Let's find out. Nancy Gonzalez. In 2013, Nancy Gonzalez, a 28-year-old prison officer, got herself into a real mess. She was supposed to be watching over the prisoners, but she ended up getting way too close to one of them. Ron L. Wilson. He was in for some serious crimes, like shooting 2 NYPD detectives. And guess what? She ended up pregnant. Sounds crazy, right? You wouldn't think of a prison as a place for romance. But Gonzalez didn't seem to care about that. She really broke the rules, and it got her into big trouble. Gonzalez got charged and is going to spend up to 15 years in prison. Her reason for all this? She said she wanted to give Wilson a child, to give him some hope. That's one strange way to cheer up someone in prison, but it's definitely not the right way to do it. Michael Eugene Rutkin. Michael Eugene Rutkin, a 41-year-old guard at a prison in Danbury, Connecticut, turned his job into something right out of a crime movie. In 2008, he ended up on the wrong side of the law. Rutkin broke the rules big time by getting too close to a female prisoner, offering her things like candy, cigarettes, and alcohol. Things went south when the prisoner gave the authorities some evidence that proved what Rutkin was up to, landing him in big trouble. He got a 15-year sentence for his actions, but that was just the start of his troubles. While he was serving his time, Rutkin started acting like he was in a gangster movie. He tried to get other prisoners to help him find someone to harm his ex-wife, her new boyfriend, and a few others. He even wrote down all the details and sent $500 as a down payment. In 2010, he was found guilty of some very serious crimes, including trying to get someone killed. The judge gave him an extra 1,080 months in prison. That's 90 years for his dangerous plans. Sarah Nelson. Sarah Nelson, a 45-year-old assistant warden from Nebraska, got herself in a pretty big mess. It seems like she took the idea of being close to the inmates too far. Instead of keeping things professional, she ended up doing things to prisoners that got her in serious trouble. Nelson found herself in a situation that's more about messing up than keeping order. She went from being in charge to being taken into Lancaster County Jail. She forgot she was supposed to be the one running things, not joining in. Now, she's facing 2 serious charges, including abuse with an inmate and breaking the rules as someone who works in the prison. She used to be an assistant warden, and now she's in the same prison, but not in the way she used to be. Tyrell Harris McLaughlin. Tyrell Harris McLaughlin, a 28-year-old prison guard from Jersey City, New Jersey, ended up in a big mess and found himself on the wrong side of the law. On September 16, 2021, Harris McLaughlin, who was supposed to keep things in order in prison, did something really wrong. He got into trouble for abusing a female prisoner up to extreme level at the Edna Mahan Correctional Facility for Women. What he did was way out of line for a prison officer and definitely not part of his job. He was charged with serious crimes because of his actions. The charges were second-degree assault and abuse, as well as not doing his job right. In simpler words, Harris McLaughlin could be looking at 5 to 10 years in state prison and have to pay a fine as big as $150,000. Jennifer Gavin. Jennifer Gavin, a guard at HMP Berwyn, got herself into a real tangle that ended up with her trading her guard uniform for an inmate jumpsuit. She decided to sneak a cell phone into the prison for prisoner Alex Coxon, charging a little amount for this risky move. Later, Gavin and Coxon used it to send each other inappropriate photos. Coxon, who was in prison for robbery, surely didn't expect this kind of things when he got locked up. Later, in court, Gavin faced the music and admitted she did wrong. She pleaded guilty to not following the rules. Her reward for all this trouble? She got an 8-month stay in prison, which was definitely not the kind of break anyone would want. Hannah Gaves. Hannah Gaves, a 27-year-old prison guard, tried to be a smuggler, hiding illegal stuff in her own clothes. Gaves didn't quite get the idea of hiding things properly, as she filled her undergarments with all sorts of banned items like cocaine, cannabis, tobacco, and even Rizzlers. It was like she was carrying a mini party with her. But she got caught before she could even walk into Earl Stoke Prison in Wiltshire with her hidden stash. In court, Gaves had to own up to what she did. She admitted she was guilty of having drugs with the plan to give them the prisoners and trying to sneak in tobacco. Her punishment for all these wrong choices? She got sent to prison for 3 years. Emily Watson. Emily Watson, a 26-year-old prison guard, found herself in a very unusual situation that wasn't exactly full of holiday cheer. Instead of a quiet Christmas day at Wrexham's Berwyn prison, she ended up in a bit of forbidden drama with prisoner John McGee, who was in for 8 years due to a serious driving offense. In court, they called Watson a thrill seeker, and it seemed like she really wanted to make her workday more exciting in a way that's definitely not allowed in prison. She got inside McGee's cell for hours, not just once, but several times, doing things that were far from her job description. Gary Haywood. Gary Haywood signed up as a corrections officer at New York's Rikers Island in 1996. As a former Marine, he was looking to tackle a mountain of debts on a $28,000 salary. Soon found the prison walls hid opportunities of the not-so-legal variety. It started small. An inmate offered him $300 for a pack of cigarettes, a small fortune in a place where a puff of smoke was as coveted as gold. Thinking, well, cigarettes ain't exactly a gateway drug. Haywood made the trade, and why not? It was an easy way to make a quick buck, or so he thought. Soon, one pack turned into many, and Haywood became the Marlboro man of Rikers Island. But as the saying goes, give an inch and they'll take a mile. An inmate upped the ante, offering $1,500 for a half ounce of cocaine. Haywood, now seduced by the siren song of easy money, dove headfirst into the world of smuggling coke, cell phones, and who knows what else. The downfall? An inmate turned snitch, and a candid camera moment landed Haywood in his very own workplace, but this time as a guest in orange. Joyce Mitchell. Joyce Mitchell, prison guard at New York's Clinton Correctional Facility, turned her everyday job into something out of a movie. Maybe she was bored with the same old routine, so she decided to shake things up by playing a part in a big prison escape. Mitchell used some clever tricks for her plan. She got a guard to pass some frozen hamburger meat to prisoner Matt, but it wasn't just meat in there. She had hidden hacksaw blades inside. Mitchell was like a character in a wild cooking show, sneaking in these tools and getting past the metal detectors without anyone noticing. Prisoner Matt, 48, and Sweat, 35, used what Mitchell gave them to cut through the walls of their cells. It was like they were in their own version of the Great Escape, crawling through tight spaces and finally coming out of a manhole outside, like they were playing a game of hide and seek. But for Mitchell, helping these escape artists didn't end well. She got caught and was charged for helping them break out. So she ended up in jail too, but not as a guard this time. Stephanie Smith-White. Stephanie Smith-White turned a regular job as a prison guard at Franklin Prison in Durham, England, into something you'd read about in a wild romance story. Her unexpected partner in this was inmate Curtis Warren. Smith-White really went over the top with this work romance idea. She even made a special adjustment to her uniform pants to make their secret meetups easier. That's right, she cut a hole in her pants. Their meetings happened in different places around the prison. His cell, the kitchen, and even the laundry area. In the end, Smith-White's choices led her to a place she never expected. She ended up in prison herself. And there you have it, the astonishing tales of 10 prison guards who, in a twist of fate as ironic, found themselves on the other side of the bars they once patrolled. For further exploration of such stories, check out these 2 additional videos.